There are so many things I say every day just to be polite. I don't always mean anything special by them. I'm not trying to be deep or friendly in a big way. I'm just trying to be nice enough so things go smoothly. For example, when I pass someone in the hallway at work, I say, "Hi," not, "Hi, how are you?" Just, "Hi." It's quick, it's easy, it doesn't ask for a real conversation. If they stop and ask, "How are you?" I usually answer, "Good, how about you?" Even if I'm tired, even if I had a long day already. Good is polite. It ends the question. When someone holds the door for me, I say, "Thank you." Sometimes I say it quietly. Sometimes I say it louder if they're farther away. I don't think about it. It just comes out. If I hold the door for someone else, I say, "You're welcome," before they even finish saying thanks. It's automatic. When I walk into an elevator and someone else is already there, I smile a little. Sometimes I say, "Hi." Sometimes I don't say anything at all. But if they say something first, I answer. If the elevator is slow, I might say, "It's taking forever today." Not because I'm really annoyed, just to fill the silence. When I'm at a store and the cashier asks, "Did you find everything okay?" I say, "Yeah, I did." Even if I didn't. Even if I forgot one thing. It's just easier. When they ask, "How's your day going?" I say, "Good." I don't explain. I don't complain. I don't turn it into a story. When someone says, "Sorry about the wait," I say, "That's okay," even if I did wait a while. It's not a big deal. I don't want to make it awkward. If someone bumps into me, I say, "Sorry." Sometimes we both say sorry at the same time. Then we both smile and move on. When I'm on the phone and someone puts me on hold, I say, "Sure, no problem," even though waiting is never really fun. But saying that feels polite. At work, if someone asks me to do something small, I say, "Yeah, of course," even if I'm busy, even if I need to check my schedule later. I can figure it out after. If someone explains something and I already know it, I still say, "Yeah, I know." But I say it in a soft way, not in a rude way. I don't want them to feel bad. If I don't know something, I say, "I'm not sure," instead of, "I don't know." It sounds nicer, less direct. When someone gives me feedback, I say, "Thanks for letting me know," even if I don't fully agree, even if I need time to think about it. When a meeting ends, I say, "Thanks, everyone." Sometimes everyone says it at the same time. Then we all log off. When I'm late to a meeting, I say, "Sorry, I'm a little late." I don't explain unless someone asks. Just saying sorry is enough. If someone sends me a message and I can't reply right away, I answer later with, "Sorry for the delay," even if the delay wasn't that long. It sounds polite. When someone asks me a question I don't want to answer fully, I say, "It depends." That phrase gives me space. It keeps things neutral. If I don't want to commit to plans, I say, "Let me check and get back to you." I'm not saying yes. I'm not saying no. I'm being polite. When someone tells me something personal, I say, "That makes sense." Sometimes I really understand. Sometimes I just want to show I'm listening. If someone is talking a lot and I don't know what to say, I nod and say, "Yeah," or "Right," or "I see." Those words keep the conversation friendly. When someone invites me to something I probably won't go to, I say, "That sounds fun." I don't promise anything. I'm just being nice. If someone asks for my opinion and I don't want to hurt their feelings, I say, "It's not really my thing, but it looks nice." That's a polite way out. When I leave a place, I say, "All right, have a good one." It works everywhere. At work, at stores, with strangers. I don't stop to think about these phrases. I don't plan them ahead of time. They come out because they're part of daily life. Being polite doesn't mean being fake. It just means making things easier for everyone. And most of the time, these small sentences do exactly that. I notice that being polite often means saying things I don't think too much about. The goal is not to impress anyone. It's just to keep things comfortable. When I'm talking to someone I don't know very well, I choose my words carefully without realizing it. I say things like, "I think," or "maybe," or "I could be wrong." Those phrases soften everything. If I disagree with someone, I don't say, "You're wrong," and I say, "I see it a little differently." That sounds calmer, less direct, more polite. When someone shares an idea and I don't love it, I say, "That's interesting." Not because it's amazing, just because it's not terrible. That's interesting, buys time. If someone talks for a long time and I want to respond politely, I say, yeah, I get what you're saying, even if I don't agree with every part. It shows respect. When someone asks for help and I can't help right away, I say, I'm a bit tied up right now. I don't say, I'm busy. Tied up sounds nicer. If I need to interrupt someone, I say, sorry to interrupt, or can I jump in real quick? I don't just start talking. I ask first. When someone makes a small mistake, I say, it happens, or no big deal, even if it caused a little problem. I don't want to make them feel bad. If someone is confused and asks me again, I say, let me explain it another way. And I don't say, I already told you. That would sound rude. When I don't remember someone's name, I avoid using it. I say things like, hey, or you, or I wait for someone else to say their name first. That's part of being polite, too. When someone tells me bad news, I say, I'm sorry to hear that, even if I don't know what else to say. It shows care. If someone is complaining and I don't want to join in, I say, yeah, that sounds frustrating. I acknowledge it without adding fuel. When someone invites me to something and I really don't want to go, I say, I'll see how things look closer to the date. That keeps things friendly. If I need clarification, I say, just to make sure I understand. It sounds careful. It sounds polite. When someone is explaining something slowly, I don't rush them. I say, take your time, even if I'm in a hurry. If someone gives me advice I didn't ask for, I say, thanks, I'll keep that in mind. I don't promise to follow it. I'm just being polite. When I'm ending a conversation that's going nowhere, I say, all right, I don't want to keep you, even if I'm the one who wants to leave. When I see someone I recognize but don't really know, I smile and say, hey, good to see you. Even if I saw them yesterday, it's polite. If someone asks a question that feels too personal, I answer vaguely. I say, oh, just the usual, and that closes the topic. When someone thanks me too much, I say, it was nothing, even if it took effort. It keeps things light. When I'm correcting someone gently, I say, I think it's actually this way. And I don't say, that's wrong. If someone is late, I say, no worries, even if I was waiting. I don't want to create tension. When someone asks me to repeat something, I say, sure, before repeating it. It makes the interaction smoother. If someone apologizes for asking a question, I say, no problem at all. Questions are normal. There's no need for them to feel bad. When I don't want to continue a topic, I change it politely. I say, anyway, and move on. Most people follow. When someone is talking and I want to show I'm listening, I say, right, or exactly, or yeah. Those small sounds matter. When I'm unsure, I say, I think so, instead of yes. It sounds softer. When someone is nervous, I say, you're doing fine, even if they don't believe. It helps. All of these phrases are small. None of them are dramatic. But together, they shape how conversations feel. They help avoid awkward moments. They reduce tension. They keep things friendly, even when people don't agree. Most of the time, I don't even realize I'm doing it. I'm just moving through the day, saying the things that make life easier. And that's what being polite really is. Not saying the perfect thing, just saying enough to keep things comfortable.